What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is your guy, Rob Villa, one of your hosts. Another guy, G,
He Wiz in the house
representing who you from.
representing the West Coast, Southern Cal.
Yeah, West Coast in the house. This is MusicLifeSocial. Rob Villa repping that double S signature styles. And we got a special edition, sports edition, being that the NBA finals are going on right now. So we decided to come with our list, which is going to be an ongoing thing we're going to be having periodically throughout the rest of the year, where we're going to do not our top 10 players of all time, but we're going to do the top 10 point guards of all time. We're talking about the point guard in the purest form.
Yeah, exactly. But
We're not talking about
not box.
not box office. So we make sure we're setting the criteria. So we don't care how many three. We're talking about the ball handler who can actually facilitate the floor. Because you bring the ball to the court, don't make you a point guard.
Not in my opinion.
No, we're talking about
because there's going to be people off this list who make the top. They're going to make the top 10 in terms of all-time best players, but they won't be on the list.
Yeah. Because you got some point guards masquerading as a shooting guard, which is because we know today's game has changed. But if they were playing it in another era, in the era prior to them, they would be a shooting guard. So we're going to make that clear. And it's the top 10. So we're going to probably get some controversial takes, or people are going to be like commenting and say like, what's cool? Like, put like this. We've seen cats play. All of us, we've seen cats play from like the early 80s up until now. So you're talking about 40 plus years of basketball we have watched from each person. And also is this like, so we also want to give an honorable mention for cats because we're doing the people who actually seen play. So give an honorable mention to, the logo, rest in peace, Jerry West, Bob Cousy, the Big O, Oscar Robertson. I never seen these guys play, but I've heard stories and I've seen highlights, and I'm respecting them and giving an honorable mention.
And I'm also giving an honorable mention
and is anybody else
DJ, Dennis Johnson? Yeah.
Dennis Johnson, to the late great Dennis Johnson. So I seen him play. He was nice.
People forget he didn't leave, but he was that 79 Supersonics.
Yeah.
I heard stories about that too. So I want to give a shout out to him.
Yeah, so G Wiz, you go ahead and set it off with because we're gonna go through 10 through 6, and then we're gonna go through our top
number
5.
One, I'm gonna go with Russell Westbrook at 10. And at 10, because
he's your twin too. He's your twin. People say you look like you.
I'm gonna give Russell props because I can't ignore the triple double. But it's not so much as the rebounds, man. It was just his floor energy and things like that. And I think what he brought to the game and still brings to the game, man. I don't necessarily look at him as a pure point guard, but he amassed enough assists to qualify for this.
Yes, because he definitely.
But the energy he brought and the athleticism he brought was amazing, and so I gotta give him a shout out, man, because he was amazing, and he still is. He still is that.
Yeah.
And so I can't ignore that.
Yeah, and he has to be in the right. I think he has to be in the right fit too with certain people, with certain play. Well, I'm gonna say the right fit. Put it like this: if LeBron was on the Lakers team, and it was another say if it was Kevin Durant versus LeBron. If it was Kevin Durant, AD, and Russell Westbrook, I could see them winning the championship with Russell Westbrook because LeBron is ball dominant. He brings the ball up the court, so it's like you don't.
Well, LeBron would have been the point guard.
Yeah, I said LeBron was the point guard, but Russell Westbrook was on that team, so it's like, but being that I think Russell Westbrook, if Kevin Durant was on that Lakers team and Russell Westbrook was on that team with AD, I think it would have been like that's your quintessential classic. You got your point guard, you got your forward, and then you got a big. So it's like I think that would have meshed well together, but it's no knock on him. But when the Lakers got him, I was like, it's not gonna fit. It's not gonna because he's not. It's it's like you got two guys that can bring the ball up the court equally, that can give the assist and all that. So it's like you got two players playing the same position, but they're at different positions. You know what I'm saying? Like you got. So that's but Russell Westbrook, okay,
and at being at 10, it may sound disrespectful. That's not what I'm going with this. Watching him play, man, is true is one of the true joys of watching the NBA. So
Yeah.
he may sound low,
Yeah.
but as this list progresses, you're going to see exactly why he's 10
hot.
and not 5, 6, or 7. You know, things like that.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
And so,
Yeah. I get it.
but man, you got the San Antonio gear, man. I don't have a problem with it, but I will say number 9 is Tony Parker. Tony Parker is number 9.
Oh,
I
yes.
don't think the San Antonio Spurs could have found a better point guard than what they got when they drafted him back at, I think it was, what was it, 2000? I remember that draft, by the way. I remember that draft very well because I was living in Alpharetta, Georgia.
Yeah.
And I was in the weight room, and I remember they picked him. And he was 19 years old. Yeah.
I know.
He was 19 years old.
I remember that.
And I can't recall what what people thought in terms of, is this a good fit or whatnot? But they picked the perfect point guard because he played the San Antonio system perfectly.
Yeah.
And to win those championships, first of all, I don't think they would have won those championships without
No.
And I still see him coming up that pick and roll. Man, he was amazing, man. I think he fit the San Antonio Spurs to now whether he went into that way or they coached him, whether Pop coached him that way, but it was perfect because that's not a system that Allen Iverson probably could have fit in. That wasn't him. Tony Parker, on the other hand, was a perfect point guard for the San Antonio Spurs.
Yes, he was. Buddy, yeah. Parker, man, it's like he just knew where to put the ball at. As far as once he got in that paint, you didn't know if he was going to score or he was going to hit somebody. Yeah. I say Tony Parker. Yeah, I give you that. He's up there. I respect that position. You got him at number 9.
Yeah, let me
because he's one of those ones.
Let me double check something. Yeah, Tony Parker.
Okay. Even that team in France, he had him with the Olympics. It was nice too.
So Tony Parker, I think he's number 9. I think he deserved to be in the top 10. I'm gonna go with Luka.
What number? What?
Yes,
for
point guard. He's a pure point guard.
Yeah, I guess it's the height. Well, okay, why I take that back because we get him far as with
you gotta understand, he's 26. Luka, he just turned 26 years old, but he's been a 5-time first team All NBA, and he's clutch.
Mm-hmm.
He's clutch.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And make no mistake about it, he's clutch.
I get. Yeah, Luka is. He's Luka. Every time you think the ball's going to miss, it goes in. Like,
it seems like a wind up it takes a long time, but it goes in. Mm-hmm. And so 5-time first time at 25. By the time he was 25, he was 5-time first team All NBA, and he went to the NBA. Mm-hmm. He took a number 6 seed team to the NBA Finals. Yeah. That's crazy.
He did that.
And so I got to give him his credit. Now, the fact that he played for the Lakers, that has nothing to do with it.
Of course he didn't. Well, y'all know people. He's a Lakers fan, so die hard.
And so, it's just that's Luka. And so,
yeah, man, yeah.
Now, John Stockton is he's interesting because
you got
I got John. I skipped over somebody, by the way. I need to. I got John Stockton at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got him in 6. I'm have trouble. Yeah, okay. Because he wasn't a scorer, but if you look at his numbers, this dude was. He was
man. Oh,
his ability, his ability to distribute the ball. Now,
Yeah. I
granted,
got John
a
Stockton
lot of those
numbers.
assists came to Karl Malone.
Man, you
That
can't
pick and
help who you
roll
play with.
was ridiculous in Utah.
Yeah, you can't help who you play with. So who you got? You had Luke at 8. You said Luke at 8.
No, I got.
Who was at number 7?
I got Luca at no, I got Luca at 7. I gotta see who the hell did I have at
You had
Luca. Luca is I got Luca behind Stockton, obviously, and I got Stockton at 6.
yeah.
Tony Parker at
So yeah,
Yep.
Westbrook, Tony Parker.
And so
Who was at 8 then? So I didn't hear you say 8. Because you said Westbrook is 10,
yeah.
Tony Parker's
Kevin
9.
Johnson.
Kevin Johnson at 8. All right. Kevin Johnson at 8.
Kevin Johnson did. Kevin Johnson was able to do things like he does something that I like out of my point guards. He can distribute the ball, but he did something, and you'll find this is a common theme in my top 5. He did something in which he could take over a game scoring. He dropped 37 on the Lakers back in what year was that? I think it was the early. Yeah, it was the early. Yeah, I mean, he knocked them out the playoffs because he dropped 37 on them. But he was also one of those guys that did 9 assists.
And he did,
and that's what I like about KJ.
I remember even when he when they played Houston, he had dunked on the Dream. I don't know if you remember that when Houston and Phoenix played. He went crazy. I was like,
he was dribbling the ball. He was dribbling the ball. I remember one series he was dribbling the ball down the court, and then there was someone on the opposing team said something to him, and he pointed to himself like, "You talking to me?" All right, fine.
Mm-hmm.
So he dribbled to the left, dribbled to the right, and went to the lane and made a layup. It was like, okay, this conversation's over. So that's
okay.
Yeah, man. Kevin Johnson was my idol growing up. Well, he's a few that I had growing up, but yeah, man, he was something else. He was something else.
Okay, former mayor of Sacramento.
Yeah, exactly. I think he owns a couple of restaurants, or something like that.
Okay, and he's been ever since he retired. He kind of been out of the spotlight.
Yeah, but he was a very bright guy. He's a very smart guy, and he's not the type of guy that just sits on the sideline and does nothing. He's incredible. He had this thing where he wouldn't sign an autograph unless I think a kid answered a math question, a basic math question. In which case, he'd sign an autograph afterwards. So that's
crazy.
That's how that's the type of guy he is. Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah. Okay. So recap for us. You had 10 through 6. You said Russell Westbrook at number 10. Number 9 is Luca.
Yeah.
No, Tony Parker. Excuse me. Number 9 is Tony Parker.
KJ's after
and number
that.
8. KJ is number 8. Then you get
Luka.
And number 7 you have Luca. And 6
and
John Stockton. They called him the what was his nickname? I remember his nickname because you had the mailman. Then you had it didn't really stick. I remember it was like the poster boy or something. It was like something.
I don't remember.
The delivery man. No, they called him the delivery man. Something like the delivery boy.
Yeah,
it didn't even stick.
You may be right. I don't remember that, man. Sounds corny.
It's like delivery. Yeah. I was like, all right, cool. I had our list is kind of because I got to hear your top 5, but so like as far as with the 10 through 6, I got it's a couple in here that like as maybe we kind of identify with. As far as with you have Luke. It's so funny you had Luke at what number?
Is 7.
7, right? 7. All right. So at number 10, I got someone that was in his draft class.
Oh my God!
I don't know what it is.
Where are you going with this, man? Where are you going?
Well, it feels like he's not getting.
I don't know what it is. Does he share my last name? Okay.
Yes. Yes. It's Trae Young at number 10, and I don't know why they put this stigma. It seemed like even on national media, like he gets shunned. He hasn't done anything. He's like he gets shunned even when by the way, which I don't care. They can say it, the Mars twins. They are
Horrible at what?
horrible. Marquise,
No, I know you're talking
Marquise,
about
and
horrible at what?
Yes, analyze like even on when they on first take, they are horrible. They takes not even they takes is when they talk. But I was like they are bland, they dry. Even when they talked about Trey, one of them talked about Trey Young. They were talking about how there was a topic was like ain't no pure point guards in the league no more. Tyrese Halliburton, respect to him, like yo, he's the only true point guard in the league right now. And Kendrick Perkins said, what about Trey Young? And one of the more said, well, he just now started doing that this year. Started passing the ball. He used to just shoot threes all the time. I'm like, what? You're not watching basketball. You're not watching. I said, you're not literally watching basketball. Because Trey Young, he's either top 2 or number 1, led the league in assists he came in the league. So I was like, what do you, and his, reason why I brought up, I looked at his, I don't know what it is. He averages 25 points career, right? 25 points a game. And his career average is 9.8 assists. You would take that if you were a fan, you would take that. But last year, I averaged 11 assists a game. 3-point percentage shooting is like 38%, which is cool. Which is cool. But like, so I don't know what is his stigma, but he's an introvert too, which is I learned about this like this past year. He's really an introvert. He doesn't really, and he's like he was in clutch points. He was second next to Jalen Brunson. But I think with Jalen Johnson getting hurt this year, that kind of. But I damn near watched every Hawks game this year. And Jalen Johnson getting hurt, I think really hurt them because Zaire Richardson was coming along. I don't know what it is. I would, because even you heard the rumors when like the Lakers was there was potential was trying to get Trey Young like last year, and everybody said, "Oh yeah," and that would have been a good. But y'all got you got Luka, but I think that would have been a good fit. It was like Trey, LeBron, and AD. That would have been just as good. I think it would have been cool, but I got Trey Young at number 10. Okay, I'm doing a cheat code here. It's a 2-way tie for number 9. I had the same thing. Tony Parker and Rod Strickland.
Oh my God, okay? So you're doing a double at number 9. Is that what you're telling me?
I couldn't tear away from Rod Strickland, man. I could not.
For anyone listening, I'm eliminating Rod Strickland because for the sake of this show, because I think you did. Why is Rod Strickland? I love Rod Strickland, by the way. Went to DePaul. I know exactly who Rod Strickland is. That he can ball. By the way, he also played for the Spurs. Did that have something to do with it?
Yeah. No, actually, I was. It's so funny. My grandmother, God rest her soul, her maiden name was Strickland. Like our family was like Strickland. When he got drafted by the Knicks, I asked her, like, is he our cousin? She was like, I don't know. Let me call and check. But I never did find out. And I used to always be glued to watching him because I would watch Knicks games. I'm like, he was nice with it.
Remember, Brand Newman said, "Why the Knicks trade Rod Strickland?" Yeah, exactly.
Rod Strickland, yeah.
They never should have.
I hated him ever since then. And they should have traded him. I hate him. So I got him number 8, Tim Hardaway.
Oh,
Tim Hardaway.
Yeah.
Tim Hardaway.
The crossover.
Bruh.
The original crossover.
The crossover.
Yes. He was nice. That was
Tim Hardaway. And
it
was so crazy. He didn't fall off when he went to the Heat either. When he was with Golden State, he was super nice. But when he went to the Heat, he still didn't fall off.
No, he did not fall off.
He didn't. He kind of set that. He was really the setup for that whole Dwayne Wade, that whole championship. That I think Pat Riley was like, okay. I think Pat was like, I got to draft me a player similar to him, a la like Dwayne Wade, as far as with like just that unknown. Like how Dwayne when the Heat drafted Dwayne Wade, you were like, oh, okay, he may be but he was like a Tim Hardaway 2.0 to me. But Tim Hardaway, man, that run TMC with the Golden State with him, Mitch Richmond, and Chris Mullin. That's what I'm saying.
That run TMC. It started with Tim.
Yeah, it started with Tim and ended with Tim. And so I got Tim Hardaway at number 8.
Chris Mullin, and I will say Chris Mullin. He was probably the leader of that team in terms of just when you went into the game, who we gonna game play. But no, Tim Hardaway lit you up. He'll light you up. He lit the Lakers up.
Yeah.
He lit the Lakers
Yeah, he was that dog. He had no fear at all. So I got Tim Hardaway at number 8. Number 7, Kevin Johnson.
My guy.
So yeah, Kevin Johnson, number 7. So there's no, you talked about it. I
No,
don't have to
we did not talk about
reiterate
this.
what you just said. Number 6, I love and hate this guy, and I'm mad at David Stern for nixing this. But Chris Paul.
So we'll get
Chris
into
Paul. Chris Paul, man. If he went to that Lake, oh man, him and Kobe, oh my gosh, that probably turned me into a Lakers fan. Chris Paul and Kobe, man, and like, yeah. So that's my 10 through 6. Now we can get into the, it's somebody, before we get into this top 5, it's somebody that you thought about, like, all right, they should have been on. I
would
wanted to put them on there, but it was
injuries. Anthony Hardaway. I personally think Anthony Hardaway is maybe, you got Christian Laettner, but I think the most talented college basketball player may have been Anthony. For him to put up 25, 9, and 8 a night in college basketball back in his sleep. And do what he did when he was with the Orlando Magic, man. I'm a huge Anthony Hardaway, and I'm rooting for him now when he's at Memphis. When he was at Memphis State,
with Memphis,
which is what it was called back then. If not for that knee, he would be an all-time great,
Yeah, he would.
And Chris Paul is actually on my list of people who I didn't include. He wasn't a pure shooter, and but being a point guard, I don't know if that's necessary, but it's, you kind of want that.
Yeah, because we played even with the New Orleans Hornets, he gave my Spurs hell. I said, gosh, get this. I was like, oh my gosh. When that playoff it seemed like every time the Spurs were in the playoffs, they would wind up playing the New Orleans Hornets. At this time, there was people out there listening. There was the New Orleans Hornets at one time. And I was like, gosh, I couldn't. Oh, he was just crafty and just get up under your skin. Like, and he knew every trick. He knew every rule. He was like the Bill Belichick of point guards. Like, he'd be on the, like, get away with a lot of stuff. Not get away,
John
but
Stockton
he knew everything.
No, he was he was known as a very nasty person.
Yeah.
Borderline dirty.
Yeah. And like,
but he had to do it in order to get, because he was playing against guys that were more athletic and things like that. So, that's what they did.
Yeah.
That's what he did.
So ladies and gentlemen, we're about to get into our top 5. G Wiz gonna start off with his top 5 point guards of all time. I'm quite sure it's gonna be a good list. I'm thinking it should be. I already know who number one is probably going to be.
So there's no, you don't have to.
So we go ahead. G Wiz start off with number 5 for me.
I can't ignore though. Now you can disagree with whether or not he should have won 2 MVPs, but he won them.
Yeah.
His ability to see the floor and was amazing. Steve Nash, he probably only scored like 18, 19 points a game, but he gave you 12, 13 assists in his prime. That's what he gave you.
Yeah.
And so he pushed the ball when it was needed. And by the way, according to Steve Nash, if you watch him play, it was always needed. He always pushed the ball. Fast paced, like that.
Yeah. Especially with D'Antoni's offense.
And he ran it to perfection.
He's like, yo.
And so those 2 MVPs, man, I can't ignore that. And now you can say, Shaq should have won one of those. Probably, it's a good chance. Shaq probably should have won one of those.
Yeah, but because Shaq should have won. It's probably like right at that moment, right that year. I think Shaq should have won it. It was like right when the league was starting to change. As far as a shift to where, like, as far as with the shooting point guard, like it was starting to be a real fast pace. So the big man, not saying the big man was about to get eliminated, but like it's like right around that time, that's when the league was starting to change it to like, okay, focusing on shooting and passing and stuff like that. How like versus like being ball dominant and dunking and all that and block shots.
Yeah, and the thing about him, he didn't make mistakes. He didn't turn the ball over. If the play wasn't there, he pulled it back. Let's recalibrate and let's do something else.
Set up again.
In the half court.
Yeah, come back out and set it up again.
He was a point guard's point.
Yeah. Yes. You would love to have him. You love to have Steve Nash.
When I think about my top 5, I'm thinking about guys that if I'm on the floor, who would I want to play with? Who do I trust to get me the basketball in the right set? Steve Nash. Yeah.
In the right spot. Yeah,
Give
right
me
shot.
give me the
Give
open
me my
shot.
look.
Steve
He
Nash
knows
is
my
gonna do
spot.
that for you. Yeah.
Give me my look, and I wouldn't do
No.
second guess it at all. All right, so that's 5.
This one,
All right.
it may seem out of left field. And by the way, it's not because of his name. It's because he played both halves of the court. The glove, Gary Payton.
Gary Payton,
Yes,
GP,
that's my guy.
GP.
That is my guy.
Mm-hmm.
Because
GP.
not only would he give you 20 points, 9 assists, but whoever he was guarding, they didn't show up that night.
No.
They didn't show up that night.
Mm-mm. You know, shout out to my one of my one of my homies, Armstrong. He's from Seattle, and he's a diehard Seattle. Well, of course they don't have a team now, but Seattle Sonics fan, Supersonics, like GP, that's one of his favorite players. So like he'll be pleased that you got GP on there in the top
I
5.
would be, if I didn't do it, I would it would be malpractice on my part. Yeah,
Yeah,
this
you have
they called him the glove for a reason. He shut you down. He shut that other guy down. And for him to be able to give you 20
yeah,
points, 9 assists, this is nightly, every night.
yeah. And it was so crazy. He was telling my people. He was telling me. Armstrong was telling me, and I was watching a documentary on the Seattle team when they played the Bulls in the finals. He was like, "Yeah, that was true." Like he would like call players out. Like he would call like college. He would like college players that was like whatever they school they was playing at, or even in high school. He said he used to go to like, "I beat your ass. I beat your ass. You can't mess with me." And they'd challenge him. It was like, "Yeah." He would call him out, and he would literally take him to court. And Jamal Crawford even tested like, yeah, he did that to me. He came to my college. Oh, you supposed to be the nicest one about to come to the league?
Mhm.
I'm gonna bust your ass.
Yeah.
He
He came into the
so,
league when
so
he was first. I'd never forget this, man. He got drafted in 1990. I was just a kid, and he said there's only in terms of point guards. He said there's only point guards like me and Magic with generation. He compared himself to Magic back in 1990,
mm,
and people
mm,
thought, who the hell is this dude? Who is this
he was
dude coming in?
crazy.
Now you got to remember, he went to Oregon State, uh, which I
Yeah.
don't like, but he went to Oregon State, and this, if you look at his Oregon State numbers, they were ridiculous. It seems like Nintendo Vision like
Mm,
numbers. It's like who the hell put up
yeah.
numblike numbers like this? Gary Payton did it.
Probably had like you playing a game, put it on easy
Exactly.
mode. You put it on rookie mode, and he got like,
And,
like hold up, man, you got
and
all these
so
numbers.
the fact that he could
Oh,
shut down his the fact that he could shut down his opposing player and hold him to very little on a nightly basis, the glove. I got to give it to him. I have to.
yeah, yeah.
That's the number
That's at
four.
number 4, right? Okay, who you got at 3?
I'm gonna go with J Kidd on this.
Yeah, shake it,
J
man.
Kidd,
You know,
J Kidd is one
like
of those guys. He could do something.
I
Huh?
remember at USC. I
He didn't go
remember
to
him at
USC.
USC when he was about to come out.
No, he went to Cal
He went
Berkeley.
to USC.
Yeah,
Cal, that's what it was. Okay, I knew it was
I
a
remember
school
in
of
high
Cal, but I
school they
was
played against Mater Dei. They played against Mater Dei.
mm,
He averaged 28 points a game, and even that was low for him because he didn't want to score.
I know. I remember that because when we got in the league, they were talking about how his numbers was kind of low, but his assist was hot. Like he was like, "No, I don't want to. I want to. You know, I remember I don't want to score. I want to
Yeah,
try to get everybody
yeah. And so
else involved." I
he
remember
beat
that.
Mater
I
Dei.
remember that.
I don't know. Mater Dei may have been 1 and 2 in the country at the time. And I remember that high school. I remember that game. He was a man amongst boys against Mater Dei. Mater Dei
Mm,
is to this day one of the most. I almost went to Mater Dei, but I changed my mind at the last minute. But uh, what he did to them, his domination. I think it was 1992. I think it was 92, and because I think he was at Berkeley at in 93. That was his. I think yeah, I double check. I think that's what it was. It was 91 and 92, 92, 93, somewhere around there. But he didn't have to score in order to dominate a game. He's one of those guys
mm,
that can
mhm,
think about when he was with the New Jersey Nets. He didn't have to score. He's one of those guys that can, if you're watching a basketball game, if you're a basketball purist and if you watch the game, you'll say there could be a guy on the other team that scored 25 points or someone on his team that scored 25 points. He may only score 12 points, But you can say he was the best. He was the
If that,
best
you know
guy
what's so
on that
crazy?
basketball court. That
That was his career average. A bad game for Jason Kidd if he have like 5 assists. So I'm like, yeah, he doing? He got 5. Like Jason Kidd had 5 assists and maybe 19, 20 points. It's like, oh, that's a bad game because he ain't on paper it looked like it was a good game. But if he had 5 assists or below, he's like, hold up, I would think they would lose that game because he ain't get all the people involved. I'm not saying he can't do that, but I'm just saying if you look on like today's era, if you see a point guard have 20 points, 5 assists, oh, that was a good game. No, back then that was if you was your point guard had 20 points and 5 assists, like no, hold up, what's going on? Like so, yeah, Jason Kidd was one of them ones.
If he can literally control the pace of a basketball game. So if he thought that the game should be going faster, he'll speed it up.
It was crazy.
If he thought the game should be going slower, he'll slow it down. But he made sure that look, if you beat us, it's not going to because me, but it's not because I'm not going to fall into your traps of what the other coach is going to do. Yeah. And so he was perfect for that. Perfect for that. And so I got his ability to control the basketball game without scoring was amazing. It was amazing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, number 2, Isaiah Thomas. Zeke. The reason I got him at number 2, he could do something at the point guard position that I absolutely adore. And that is he can take over a game by scoring, but he would also assist the game. Isaiah Thomas in a big game to give you 40 points and 11 assists was nothing. Mm-hmm. He'll give you that.
You know what his career average is? It is 19 points, 9.3 assists a game, and he's shooting 45% from the field.
Yeah, that sounds right. And the only reason it's that low because of his later years. The last 2 or 3 years, the last 2 years of his career, he only averaged like 14 points.
Yeah, I know. Because, that's the time where they was talking about he was going to get traded to the Knicks. I don't know if you remember that.
I remember that.
Like, it's like
he wanted no part of that. Yeah. And so, but his ability to, he was only 6'1". And for him to be able to take over a game offensively was amazing. He's one of those guys you can mimic. You can try to mimic. But yeah, man, Isaiah Thomas he's number 2 because, by the way, he did it in the 80s. This is when basketball was almost like football. Yeah. And so for him to be able to go out and get 30, 40 points, if the team needed it,
at his size too.
But
that's his size.
At that size too. It's the assist. He distributed the basketball. Now, that's the reason I said I'm going to take Steph Curry off the list of point guards because his career is 6.5 assists. That's what he averaged. And so his assist came through the flow of the game.
It depends on Steph to shoot.
He's a shooter
more to score. So no, I can't like so. So what if you have an off night? But but sometimes you have an off night and you're not shooting well. I want you to facilitate and pass the ball then. And Steph really, Steph can't really do that.
I'm saying he's like Reggie Miller without the basketball. He's awesome without the basketball.
Yeah.
Him and Ray Allen, awesome without the basketball.
Yeah.
And so I gotta give Zeke the number 2 because his ability for him to be able to go out and go score 20, 30, 40 points and still drop 9, 10, 11 dimes, that's crazy. In the same game, he gave you 40 points and 11 dimes.
I know.
So it's crazy.
That's crazy. So
we know who number 1 is.
I already know who your number 1 is.
He go by one name. We don't even. We don't know him as Irvin. We know of his Magic. And
Magic, baby.
Magic is the one guy. I don't know any player that's ever made teammates better. We know.
Side note,
would we know who Kurt Rambis is? Would we know who Byron Scott is?
No.
And by the way, I'm not calling those guys out. I'm just simply saying we wouldn't know who they are. Yeah.
AC Green.
Yeah.
Or AC Green.
That's Magic.
And so crazy. Him and Bird saved the league.
They saved the
league.
More so with those Magic. 2 and David Stern. David Stern actually
David Stern. Yeah. saved the league.
I don't know
Like,
any.
yeah,
There's
Magic.
it's really hard to say what I can say about him because the accolades that I can put on Magic Johnson, the fact that we even refer to him as Magic, like if you were to say who's Irvin
Yeah,
Johnson, most people would know who that is. But if you say Magic Johnson,
you don't even
okay,
say Magic.
yeah,
You don't even say Magic
who's Magic?
Johnson.
Yeah,
You don't even say Magic Johnson.
okay,
You be like Magic.
and
Oh, we ain't talking about David
yeah,
Copperfield. You like,
he
oh,
made.
it's Magic.
Think about this. Even Kareem Abdul-Jabbar said, "This is now your team for the most part." That's what.
Mm-hmm.
This is your team now.
Yeah, Capo,
The cap, yeah.
Capitan.
And so Magic Johnson, 5-time NBA champion, 3-time league MVP, 9-time first team All NBA. This is what he is.
He deferred.
Yeah.
Deferred.
And so
Magic,
the fact that I know who Kurt Rambis is.
Yeah, Magic. Yeah, man, Magic is like
He's a class
he's in
by
a class
himself.
by himself.
And he could have Magic easily could have averaged 40 points if he wanted to, because people talk about it. For he could dish out 12 points and 12 assists a game. He could have averaged 40 points. However, that 12 assists would have gone down to like 7 or something like that.
Yeah, I know. And that's so crazy. When people say LeBron is Jordan, I say no.
No, LeBron is more like Magic. Yeah.
It's more like Magic. I don't know, but yeah, Magic, he's.
And I can't say enough. I can't say enough good things about him because, like I said, he's in the class. To call him the best point guard of all time doesn't do him justice. We got to start talking about him and where he ranks in terms of the all-time greatest players, which is another segment that we're going to get into. Yeah.
As far as what I would say, all-time greatest athletes, he's in the top 10. I'll push him in the top 5. I would push because I'm thinking about boxing. I'm thinking about boxing, hockey, and all that.
Hold on,
but like Magic,
put who in the top 5 of athletes?
I say Magic's in the top 10, and I wouldn't get you wouldn't get no argument for me if you push him in the top 5.
I'll tell you what, we have to touch. We have to touch that because I don't know what your criteria is in terms of why he's.
I'm thinking about the whole embodiment of everything. I'm talking about championships. I'm talking about, as far as with. I'm talking about championships. I'm talking about far as with on the court, your point, just like far as with your averages and stuff like that, and how you, and also redefine the game, redefine whatever sport you were in, how you redefine it, well, you set a precedent.
Well, that means
because Magic was.
Now we're talking about Steph Curry.
So,
and we're also talking, if we're talking about Deion Sanders.
Yeah, Deion would be in the top 10. Deion Prime is in the top 10. What Magic was 6'8".
Don't ever
have you ever heard of it?
Take any credentials away from Magic Johnson.
No, I'm saying, have you ever heard of, prior to Magic, a 6'9" walking in the gym saying, I'm going to be point guard? I'm like, what? You better get your ass on that block. So that's why I'm like taking.
By the way, that name was given to him in high school. It was in high school. He did not get that name. By the way, most people don't realize this. He was not their leading scorer at Michigan State. He was not. No,
he wasn't. You watched that show Winning Time? They did on the Lakers. It was great, but they canceled it after one season. It was great. It's on like the Lakers. At the Lakers, it was real good. Dude played Magic. He played him to a T. It's called Winning Time. It's on HBO Max. They probably still got it.
Probably pull it up and look at it. Yeah.
Yeah, like they talk about all the. They followed Magic from when he was at Michigan State, about to get drafted, and like Adrian Brody played Pat Riley. John C. Riley played Dr. Jerry Buss. It was good. It was good. It's good. Wood Harris. He played. Was it Spencer Haywood? I think it was named Spencer Haywood for the Lakers.
Spencer Haywood for the Lakers.
Yeah. So, who would play for the Lakers on that team when they won their first round?
Oh my! You talking about the '79 Lakers?
Magic.
Oh my God!
79, 80 Lakers. Yeah. Well, I forgot Wood Harris played. I remember the name because he still played in the '80s. After that, he still played after that. But yeah, matter of fact, I know who it is.
But why you look that up? Let me ask you though: are you surprised by my Steve Nash ranking?
No, I'm not. I'm not surprised by Steve.
What about Steve Nash and Tony Parker? You think they should be closer?
Because you had Tony Parker at 9,
but I got Steve Nash at 5.
Yeah, I would have put Tony Parker ahead of Luka.
No, I can't do it because Luka. I'm gonna tell you why. Tony Parker was a part of the system. Luka is his own man. He is the system. That's the difference.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Spencer Haywood would have played him for the Lakers, but yeah. Matter of fact, Mike Epps played Richard Pryor in the series, but so I can get you. So that's your top five. I get in my top. My top five is at number 5 is Jason Kidd, which you echo
I had
the
him at
sentiments,
3.
I
Yep.
believe. Number 4, John
Why
Stockton.
Stockton at 4?
Well,
Okay.
I'm about to go into that. Stockton's at 4. Number 3 is Steve Nash. So it's like, whichever you want to do, you want to put. I'm like, do you argue? Would you disagree with if I have Steve Nash at 4 and Stockton at 3?
I don't care. I don't disagree with Nash. Stockton is where I'm coming from. I don't consider him a top 5 point guard, even though if I'm starting a franchise and I had a chance to get Stockton, that way,
Yeah, you go get Stockton.
Yeah.
You get Stockton because you're trust. Number 2,
Isaiah
Thomas. Thomas.
And we already talked about him, so I don't know.
Yeah.
It's gonna be Magic.
Number 1 is going to kind of. You think it's going to be Magic?
Lever?
Yeah. The different Nuggets.
Wait,
no, it's Magic. It's Magic, man.
We laugh at that, but I actually like Fat Lever. That's one of the dopest. That's one of the dopest nicknames I've ever heard.
Yeah. No, it's Magic. Magic is at number 1. I mean, just because Magic number 1. You know, like he did one. You know what's so funny? I'm gonna tell you, it's not a Magic story per se to him. This is like 2012. I was on the phone with my mom. She was like, "Yeah, you know, what you about to do?" I said, my cousin, I said, me, better go to this Halloween party. She's like, well, y'all gonna dress? I was like, nah. She's like, nah, you. She said, yeah, you should go as MagicJohnson and A should go as Tyler Perry. I was like, what? How do pull up 2 names? I was like, oh, pull up those 2 names, But Magic, man, Magic.
Let's talk about why. Where did you have J Kidd?
I had J Kidd number 5.
And I want you to. Why was he at number 5?
Just what he was just not it.
And
it was like
you had him behind Stockton, right?
Yeah, Stockton was number 4.
Why is that? Why
J Kidd was 5. J Kidd, it seemed like he was just flawless with like distributing the ball. Like it was just like he made it seem so effortless. Like it was just like it's like watching a ballerina that's do a pirouette or something. Like it was just like it was just seamless. Like where he just cut through the lanes and he did it at each stop he went to, from New Jersey to Dallas and Phoenix. Like it was just like
he upgraded the team.
Each team he went to, it was up. J Kidd was just like, and then with Stockton, I had him at 4 because like one reason I had him at 4 is like he kept running into Jordan, man. The Utah Jazz team kept running into Jordan, so it's like it's like he would have had at least 1 ring, but it was because at the time when it was on it, Lakers was in the rebuilding year in a sense. And so it's like that was their window of opportunity, but damn, Jordan come back. It's like
J Kidd actually did win a championship. Yeah,
with Dallas. J Kidd won with Dallas, but I ain't holding that. I wasn't holding that against him or John Stockton. I'm just talking about far as with them.
I'm not going to if I'm going to hold anyone accountable for those losses, be Karl Malone.
Yeah.
I may have talked about this with Heen, but I think Karl Malone is most. I don't know why we don't talk about Karl Malone more. But he missed free throws in that championship series, and that's what he did. And I think they would have won that series if not for that. And so I'm a huge Karl Malone fan. I think he's uninherited, and we'll get into that when we start talking about power forward.
Oh my gosh! I don't really mess with that dude like that, but I respect this game. But I just can't. Outside stuff he's doing.
Again, we'll get. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like I respect this game, but I ain't gonna
about just about the game. Yeah,
about basketball. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like power forward, he's up there. He's like put like this. I ain't gonna sit here. But what he did off the course, like no, like if he's in like top 5 power forwards,
I'm confused about what you mean about what he did off the court. I don't even know what that means.
What? You don't know all that stuff when he
I know he married Miss
Mm.
Idaho.
You didn't know about him getting while he was in college? He got a 13-year-old girl pregnant and didn't claim the baby until the
I
paternity
did
suit
not
come out.
know
The
that,
kid was
and he may
his, and the
no.
family. What?
Man,
Man,
again,
Joe. He didn't do it once. He did it
oh my
twice with
God,
another chick. He got 3 kids he don't claim. They
we're gonna
like
have to. You know what? We're
one's
gonna
in
have
the
to edit
NFL,
this
wasn't in
because
the yes.
I don't want.
You didn't
Yeah,
know
I
that?
don't want to put that man's business. Yeah,
Oh man, yeah, man, it's crazy. Yeah, that Carmel, you can Wikipedia that. You can Google that. Like Carmel, it was like a norm. Like it was like a norm thing. Like yeah, because even when they had the 75th thing, it was like, why y'all got Carmel? You know, yeah. Like and then the whole thing with Kobe and his wife Carmel, I said, oh, I definitely can't rock with him when Carmelo was doing that stuff, talking about God rest Kobe's soul, but he's talking about Vanessa Bryant. You
yeah,
remember
yeah.
that? We
I
was.
remember that. Yeah.
He was hitting on her, and then he said some other. It got out too. He was saying some more wild stuff too to Vanessa Bryant. After that, yeah, man,
I'm
yeah.
not saying
So,
he's the most,
but like you,
based on the information. I'm not saying he.
yeah. But if you come on the court, like I'm not going to argue if you got him on your top 5 power forward because he was nice. He was nice. He was nice as on the court.
But
You know, but yeah.
but anyway, yeah, that's we'll touch on that. So we got Magic.
Mm-hmm.
You got Jake. You don't have Gary Payton on there. Dude, I'm shocked by this.
Hey, look, you know what's so crazy? I missed it because I was thinking about Rod Strickland, and I was like Gary Payton. I was like, damn, I was forgetting someone. You know how you try to like, because when we was thinking about top 5, I had my top 5, but then he was like, we was doing top 10, and I was like, oh, Gary Payton slipped my mind, but Gary Payton was one of the ones. So Gary Payton, he got he got that ring with Miami too. He got that ring with Miami.
06.
He was on the team with Miami.
I remember that because
I
I
was happy
remember
for
it
that.
was. I think me and him we were at Anthony's Pizza in Decatur, and
Watching it,
when me and him we were hanging out in Decatur, and
you know,
yeah,
Anthony's
Anthony's
Pizza.
Pizza, yeah.
You know what's so funny? While you was watching with Raheem, I watched every game. Kingsley dragged me out we was going to scores off of Wesley Chapel every night. Well, each time they played that, and I said, oh my gosh, bro, I just hope they wrap this. Because because the games during the weeknights, I had to be up in the morning. Like, I said, yo. No, I had to be, I didn't have to be, but it was like, it was just like, he ordered a big pitcher of margarita, like damn near 48 ounce of margaritas. And we was watching the Heat play. He said, yo, you got to, I said, yeah, all right, man, And Gary Payton knows it because he was cheering for GP to get a ring. I was kind of too. Well, Alonzo Mourning was on that team too, wasn't he? Alonzo Mourning was on that tail end. He was on the team. Alonzo Mourning was on the 06 team.
Yeah, he got
a
one.
ring.
Problem is that
Not Lamar.
Lamar was
Alonzo
dope as
Mourning.
hell. 17 points a game, things like that. He was dope. He just fell into the wrong hands. So, and I'll leave it at that.
You talking about Lamar Odom or Alonzo Mourning? Are you talking about the Lakers? Lamar
Miami.
Odom? Okay,
He
I was
was
talking about Alonzo
Miami.
Mourning. He was on that team.
Lamar Odom played for Miami.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
He did. I didn't know he was on that Miami.
No. I'm not saying he was on the championship team, but he played for the Miami. He played for Miami. Yeah.
Oh, he did. Oh, okay.
He was part of the trade that that's how he ended up with the Lakers, I believe. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because he just filed for bankruptcy
again. He got into the wrong hand. Look.
Yeah.
But anyway, man, this is getting ready to wrap up.
Yeah. Let me see what the score is. I'm gonna check the final score. We wrap this up. I'm gonna see what the score is on that Pacers game.
That's gonna be interesting.
OKC.
Yeah.
Pacers up by 4.
Yeah.
Third quarter.
That's gonna be nice.
Third quarter. Yeah. So yeah, man. So we let y'all know we did our top 10 point guards of all time, NBA. Number 1 was Magic, of course. There's no one could top him. Not right, I don't see anyone topping him in our lifetime. So it's another episode. Shout out to G Wiz, Favela. We're gonna come back again and hopefully we can probably do another. We're gonna do another series of this.
Yeah.
Shooting guards. Yeah.
Power forwards,
That's when we do shooting guards.
Like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll fit it in.
So, all right, man. So y'all be safe out there. Yeah. Y'all be safe out there. Enjoy the rest of these finals.
Everybody. Yeah. Y'all be blessed. Be safe. Everything else. Yeah. Represent MLS.
All right. Also, too, rest
Yeah,
in peace to Dre. Rest in peace to Dre, the Beatnik, man. We lost one of the friends from Atlanta hip hop on the
for
music
sure. For
scene.
sure. Yeah.
Good dude, and peace to his daughter and his mom and his wife and his family. So y'all, may God be
Cool.
with y'all. All right.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah.